Hi everyone, I wanted to take some time to go over some fundamentals of Pilates since so many of you are taking Pilates maybe for the first time and it's all online. You're taking these Zoom classes or YouTube classes or Instagram live classes and there's not a lot of feedback. So I wanted to do a little video to help you if you've never done Pilates before, if you're newer to Pilates, if you have any limitations. So I just wanted to go through that to help you out. And if you have any questions at all, please send me a message and I will get back to you. So first of all, always want to make sure you're healthy enough to do any form of exercise. And, sorry about the big dog. Contact your doctor. If you have any injuries or limitations, Pilates is great for all bodies, for anything, right? But since we're unable to do a private lesson right now, where I can physically be there with you, here are just some pointers. First off, be kind to your body. Always be mindful of what you're doing. Take a break. Maybe watch what I'm doing or what someone else is doing, another video you're watching, and watch them first before you do it. It will really help you out if you actually see what they're doing before you actually attempt it. Also, listen to the cues very carefully. They're really important for setup and for what exercise you're going to do. So a couple things, especially with Pilates. Be mindful of your back. If you feel any pinching in your spine, if you feel any strain, that's not right. If something is hurting, you know that's not right. If it's muscle fatigue, your muscles are burning, they're shaking, that is fantastic. That's what you want. But you don't want to feel pain. So again, always be mindful of that. Also, you can do the majority of the exercises with your head down. You don't have to lift your head and shoulders up, especially if you do have a neck problem or you do strain your neck. The idea is to get your core strong enough so you are able to lift your head and shoulders off the mat. But again, it's not necessary. Practice engaging your core, using your breath, doing maybe the leg movements, and that'll help gain that strength. Another thing is as you progress, the legs will go into a different position. Feet on the floor, just like I'm going to show you, laying down, feet planted onto the floor. That is going to be the easiest position. Finding where your neutral is. All we have to do is rock a little back and forth to a flat back until your back is lifted. Usually it's a happy middle spot, but we're all shaped differently. My go-to are my hip bones and pubic bone are on the same plane. Now what I don't want to do is ever feel like I'm shoving my back into the ground and curling my butt up, unless maybe that's what our focus is, right? But generally we're not working this way, but we might, right? Just always again listen to cues. I always want to feel I'm pulling my abs down, not I'm shoving my back down so much. So that's always a common confusion is, oh, I'm pulling my belly button all the way down, but then we start to do this curl thing, and it's not necessarily that. You want to feel more of your internal body pulling in. So something I'll say a lot is pretend you have a belt on and you're just pulling that belt a little tighter. What do you have to do? You have to pull your abs and you have to suck them in order to do that. Also have the feeling that as you pull your abs in, it pushes your breath out, almost like an accordion. So your body's this accordion. If you squeeze, right, it shrinks and it pushes your breath out. Not because you had to move your spine, because you had to physically pull those muscles in, right? It's also not a tensing. It's not that feeling like I'm gonna punch you in the stomach and you grip your muscles. There isn't a gripping. Again, it's more of that sensation of, oh, I'm zipping up some tight pants, I gotta suck my belly in, and I'm putting a tight belt on, right? But when I do that, I don't wanna all of a sudden flare and lift my chest and ribs, right? So I want to try to relax through here and almost feel like my ribs are pulling in, okay? And if that doesn't make sense to you, please let me know. I'll explain it further. But again, a lot has to do with the breath. When you exhale, we exhale through the mouth. A lot of times I'll say exhale like you're fogging a mirror, more of a and that'll actually help you engage those deep muscles to push the breath out, and usually a light inhale through the nose. So a couple other things that might be useful for you. Like I was saying before, the feet down is going to be the most basic position. If I lift one leg off the floor, that's gonna make it more challenging. If I lift both legs, even more challenging. So here's the progression. The next would be legs straight up, even harder. As my legs lower down, this is going to be more advanced as my legs go down, especially both legs. Now, if I have one leg up, little harder, but not as hard as both, right? Same as I lower this leg down, a little more challenging, but definitely not as much as both legs. So always know that if we're doing both legs, you can do one. You don't have to lift both legs off the ground. Again, listen to your body and know what feels right for you. And always have questions and ask them. And we'll always answer them on any video that you take. Ask questions and everyone will be helpful to you. Another thing is when we're engaging a lot of these core muscles, this core work, if you squeeze your butt a little bit, if you feel like you're wrapping your hips, it's back to kind of that cinching feeling. That's gonna help your stability too. Any balance work comes from your whole core. And core is confusing. Our core is everything but our limbs, right? So from my butt all the way up, right, is my core. So whatever my limbs are doing, right, I need to make sure I'm stabilizing this whole area from the front to the back. So that means your hips, your butt, your abs, your back, your lats, everything is all working together to help stabilize you. So always feel that if you engage all these muscles to hold you, that's gonna help with your success. Another quick thing is I did bring my legs up to what's called tabletop. So that can be confusing too, and it's a hard position. So tabletop is when I bring my leg up, my knee is right over my hip, my shin is parallel to the floor. So it's not pulled in way up here, right? My feet aren't kicked up like this. You want to even glance up if you like. Make sure again, thighs are even, knees to hips. Shins are parallel to the floor. 90 degrees, that is your tabletop. When we do have legs straight up, here, again, my butt is down. Now, if you don't have that flexibility, you can bend the knees a little bit. Perfectly fine, right? Because you do need to progress to that straight leg up feeling. So again, it's a progression. Try not to move faster than your body's ready, right? The fundamental work is just as important. We have to have that foundation before we can move on. And always be sure to stretch when you're done with any class, because that's gonna help with any muscle soreness, but also improve your strength and flexibility so you can progress to those next exercises. Another common thing is the wrists. Our wrists are really small. They're not very big and they're holding us up. We do a lot of stuff on all fours. We may come to a plank position. So always being mindful of your wrist. Now we do need to strengthen them, so we do need to do that work. Always press through your entire hand, all your fingers pressing away. A couple little modifications, your fists, because it keeps your wrists straight and that'll help. Forearms can almost always go onto your forearms. There's some positions that might not feel comfortable, but forearms are great. Just make sure your shoulder and elbow are in alignment. Just like when I'm here, I have my shoulder, elbow, wrist in a straight line, right? They're not way underneath me and they're not super forward, right? That's the alignment. Same with the forearms. My elbow is lined up with my shoulder. So a great modification is to come onto the forearms. For plank, again, if you're newer to this, plank is hard. It's a lot of work. It is a full body exercise. Again, we don't want to feel pinching in our low back. We want to feel that strength. So that's where everything is involved. So when you're going up into a plank position, you want to watch that your hips are not sinking down. We have to engage the hips, the thighs, your abs, your butt. Another thing is it's not here, right? This is not plank either. I'm not sticking my butt up to the ceiling. So a great way to practice plank, maybe before you take the class, is do it in front of a mirror. See that you're in this nice solid straight line. You want to look like you would look perfect posture standing, right? We just flipped you. So that's where I want you to think about where you're moving from. Again, it's not from the shoulders as well. We're pressing down, squeezing down into our armpits and finding those shoulder girdle muscles, the whole core to hold us up. Again, if you feel any pain, you feel a pinch in the shoulder, take a break. Go to a child's pose. Watch what the teacher is doing. Ask questions. We're all here to help you have a successful workout, especially since we can't really go and be on this one-on-one right now. So I hope these pointers have helped you. Again, please let me know if you have any questions, maybe something we've done that I didn't cover. I will be happy to answer them and help you out in any way. Thank you again. I will see you in our next class. Bye.